still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. The return of the Entertainers is a walking football match that takes place at Gateshead Leisure Centre on Saturday the 6th of June 2026 in aid of Age UK North Tyneside. Sponsored by Shout Digital and Darren Baldwin Funerals. Tickets available from our website or from Voucher. There's also an opportunity for you to play in the game, either with or against the legends. Go to our website nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for more details. 29th of January 2027 sees an evening with Beardsley, Cole and Ferdinand at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House, hosted by John Gibson. Tickets are on sale now from the box office 0191 243 1171 or tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk or directly from us at our website. Northern Horizon is a Blake 7 convention in aid of Age UK North Tyneside. Tickets available from our website. And Rebel Base Northeast, the Star Wars fan convention, Sunday the 2nd of August at the Copthorne Hotel. Tickets available on our website. The Craze, Fred Dinage, Ronnie, Reggie and Me takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House, box office 0191 243 1171 or tynetheatreandoperahouse.uk. That takes place Wednesday the 11th of November at 7:30. We've also got some books available on our website. Will Scott's popular Entertainers book, 92 to 97, Kevin Keegan's Legacy, is available now. And The Promoter and the Photographer, 25 years of bringing the stars to Tyneside, all proceeds going to Age UK. All books available, nufcmatters.co.uk.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for other mints. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for rubbing mitts. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to NUFC Matters, start of another week. It is the Fans Forum, and just seeing the intro there just reminds us 2 years since we lost Kenny Ranson. Well, where does the time go? But thoughts with all the Ranson family. I know they still watch the show. Always thinking of you and everybody else who was made the montage of the Fans Forum. So it was quite an emotional thing watching that. Anyway, welcome along. Those of you who watch the other shows will know I haven't really been looking forward to this, to be honest. This post-mortem, if you like, of the Liverpool game, and of course looking ahead to the Man City game. Some people have said why bother doing it then? But here we are. Paul Charlton is clearly happy that we are doing it because he just says that the lads keep it real. And look, at the end of the day, some people love the fans forum, other people don't. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. It's a true reflection of how the fans feel. Thanks for keeping it real, lads, says Paul. So thanks for that, Paul. George, a 4-1 defeat at Liverpool. And let's face it, it's not the first time and it's not the last time we'll hear that. Certainly in my history of supporting Newcastle United, defeats at Anfield have been a regular occurrence and usually some pretty substantial ones. And we've also lost at home until fairly recently against Liverpool on a regular basis by cricket scores rather than football scores. So to go down there and put a decent 40 minutes in for me was, everything was great. And then, Ekatike, had to be him at the double. 2 great goals, 2 good finishes, mocking the Newcastle fans as he did it as well. Panning TNT cameras, panning to Isaac sitting on the bench smirking like a little kid. And the commentary, by the looks of it, from different people around the world, worldwide, was heavily biased towards Liverpool from the off. It's just been it's been one to forget, and not one that will ultimately dictate what happens at the end of the season for me. But it was disappointing. But I'm over it. I was over it as soon as the final whistle went, George. I wasn't sitting there depressed, disappointed. I came out of the games against, West Ham, Brentford, Wolves, those kind of games. You're coming away from those games more disappointed. I've got to be perfectly honest. But we lost 4-1, George. How did you see it? How did you feel? And are you over it?
Yes, ready for the next one. How did I feel? Dismayed. We just had the most fabulous night in Paris a few days beforehand. A game which even people on here were saying we were going to get beat 4-0, 5-0. And we outplayed the European champions, and barring a bent referee and other things, that would have been a victory. So how does that team go 4 days later? It's not exactly the same team, but the same squad, same manager, same setup. Go to Liverpool for 40 minutes, give Liverpool a game, get a goal, and then suddenly disintegrate in the second half and back end of the first half. And what is disappointing about me was on here we've been complaining about how this forward wasn't trying, that forward wasn't trying. Well, the bit that's held up has been our defence. Well, our defence was shocking on Saturday. Yes, they got 4 goals, but 3 of them were gifts. Schoolboy errors, absolutely awful. And the question you've got to ask is, well, where does that come from? It was such a shocker. And as regards the bias on the TV, Steve, well, isn't that every time we play? I don't see a TV game where anybody on the TV is shouting for Newcastle United. In fact, when we go in the lead, all I hear is the commentators getting excited when the ball goes in our half, so the other team gets an equaliser. So I'm not surprised about the way the TV acted and the commentators and so on. Positives, there are some positives. Young Lewis Hall showed what a really good footballer he is. And I know that everybody's looking over their shoulders that Livramento might be going to Manchester City in the summer. Well, I hope somebody's writing a contract for Lewis Hall, because if I was one of the top 6 clubs, that's a name I'd be penciling in for my recruitment in the summer. I tell you, he's not just good now. He's better than good. He's outstanding. In fact, with him and Lewis Bailey, the other side, doing what they did, and add Livramento as well if he's there. We're well set for the future. But at Anfield on Saturday, the defence was just schoolboys. Why is the question I ask when I analyse the game. If you analyse the game thoroughly, in terms of the stats and all the rest of it, we weren't that much worse than them. We really did present them with a win, which is mystifying to me, absolutely mystifying. The other thing that gets me is that the way in which we seem to back off and let it happen in a way in which I just don't understand at all. As I say, from Wednesday night being a huge success to Saturday being an absolute disaster, there's got to be, some sort of internal inquest in what's going on with the team, because it's just baffling. It's baffling. And as I say, for 40 minutes, looked like it was going to be one of those days when luck was on our side. Well, we just give it all away, and so yeah, I'm over it, Steve, as best it can be, and as positive as ever. But I still, need answers like everybody else as to why on a Wednesday night we can be so good, and then we can beat the European champions, and then on a Saturday be absolutely give away a game to Liverpool, and that's not nice in any circumstances. And as I say, you look for positives. Well, for me, the only positive was Lewis Hall. I mean, we sent out a team against Liverpool whose centre-back is having the worst time of his life, and we didn't put anybody up against him to bother him. And even then, we still troubled them enough to get a good goal, to show that we're in the match, and then suddenly it just collapses after the equaliser. Mystery. It's like Sullivan and Agatha Christie, really. As I say, they demonstrate on Wednesday night what I keep saying: if the right Newcastle turns up, we can beat anybody. Well, the right Newcastle didn't turn up on Saturday, that's for sure. Second half, certainly. It was painful. I've got to say, absolutely painful. But schoolboy mistakes from people who we've got used to not doing that sort of thing. It just was a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah, we did draw against PSG, not win, of course, midweek. I didn't want to interrupt you, George, but we did draw against the European champions. But I know what you mean. It was a good performance against the team that won it last season, who, are a great team. But yeah, difficulty is that you've got to find some consistency and continue it in the Premier League, and that's something we haven't been able to do away from home. Even back in the last season, away form was poor. It's a far cry from what we were doing last season. Darren, you made the trip down to Anfield, mate, and I've heard some rather disconcerting things about things that were happening with supporters down there as well. I bumped into somebody today, 2 kids arrested in the Newcastle end for singing a particular song, held overnight in a cell, and released, probably lose their season ticket to a heavy-handed stewarding down there for singing something which, I don't think really is too bad. I'm not going to repeat it on here, obviously, but tales of woe from the pitch and off the pitch, sadly, at Anfield. But what was your feelings about the game, Darren?
Well, first of all, we went to match and we had a good day for the football. We went in I seen any trouble. Me and Pablo didn't see any trouble. All the Liverpool fans who we talked about, quite friendly, to be fair. We went in their local, their area. We got in, had a bit of crack with people. Me and Pablo playing football. We had a good time. We seen any trouble, which was a good thing. We'll park the goods and park. Got in, got out safe. And then they talk about the football, Steve. Nowadays, I'm only going to talk about the first 40 minutes because we were a better team. And if the free kick goes in, we could be 2-0 up. and they're getting me 4-1. Like it's a long drive back when you get 4-1. You can go like you can like Kev's got a lot of good tactics and play. I think it's in formation, but it's all about the individual errors. That what costs the game. Joe till nail on the head. But you sit and cry and win, but we got beat. Forget about it. Move on. That's it's been a lot of overreaction. I stayed off social media. I haven't looked at anything the day yesterday. I didn't look at anything because I know people will be doing. They'll be crying, whinging, and you're hearing the story. Oh, people already howling, and I still have faith in them. But as you said yesterday, Steve, on your program you started, you need to change the run of form we haven't. I think it's just like, it is frustrating because we know how we can play and we're not doing it. We have got a trip, like I'll mention Dan Burn Trippier. Dan Burn Club has only made a couple of howlers and Trippier's getting too old now, I think, in my opinion. That's the same. Like next year, let's see. You take Pope again. You give them the four when they catch the water off the ball. And their centre half who's been shite all season score the goal. And everybody's hugging him and all that, so they're very annoying that way. He scored a goal. Gordon took his goal very well. Lewis Hall had a great game. There's always say we're ahead and but then just didn't take our chance we had. Did it really? Once it went 2-1 down, that's it. The new were getting beat. The new one come back, but I'll go over it yesterday. Like that's yes, afternoon. I got beat. It's a long drive back when you get beat forward. You come back and you see, people saying, "Oh, I thought it was shit yesterday." It happened football. Move on. You got more important thing in life going on in life today. You know what I mean? And I love football, support Newcastle, but it's not the end of the world, now, man. Fuck's sake. Grow up. We'll be next week talking about Newcastle United. Hopefully positive things. So I'm not. I can sit here and be negative and think, but I don't want to. Like, as you said, Steve, you had too many questions. Cancel program. I'm glad you haven't, because I'm not going to go on too bad about how we're playing. I can't be negative at anything, but I don't want to. I don't want to go down that line. I want to get the positive. We need to take the positive for the first 40 minutes. That's how we need it. How we need to play going forward. You need to get someone, get morale in the squad, and show the players that first 40 minutes how they played. Go off that against Man City. So it's got to be some sort of positive thing. And that's my run away. I'll tell you what, Steve.
Okay, Magnus. I feel a bit sorry for you, mate, because I know that you're surrounded by Liverpool fans and in the part of the world that you live in, Iceland. So I bet that was a nightmare for you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best day. I just started the day. I didn't have a great weekend in sports either, because Iceland played semifinals in Euros of the handball, and we both lost the semis and the bronze medal game. So I just started the morning with putting Beck's loser on at work. And just gave them all the chance to just throw their shots at me. Either way, we've dealt with a lot of tough times, and our league performances are. I mean, I saw it very blatantly the other day when I came over for the Villa game, that we just seem to struggle to break up defenses, and I mean, he tried something different yesterday with 3 wingers up top. That did not fill me up with confidence. I mean, if we were, and that's what we did. It worked up to a certain extent to use our pacey wingers, but I think definitely Visa or Osula could have been one of those 3 up top. I mean, it didn't really work out very well last time to put Gordon up top against Virgil van Dijk. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it's not that long ago. He was out for the next 3 games. defensively poor. I mean, Malik Thiaw, I don't question him a lot, but he had a stinker. And I'm really worried about the goalkeeping situation. I mean, the transfer window is still open, and we have two struggling goalkeepers. Why didn't we look at the only goalkeeper that is performing in La Liga? I'm not saying he could have been a world beater in the Premier League, but when you are struggling, you need options. And these are one of the things that are upsetting me. We didn't buy anything. We didn't look at picking up players back from loan. We're struggling in the league. But looking at the positives, definitely Lewis Hall is a world beater. He looks like young Leo Messi, just in a left back. He is amazing. I really cannot believe he is ours. And we are so lucky to have him. If he doesn't go to the World Cup, it would be ridiculous. But also, whenever we have a not that great a game, we usually come back strong. So I'm hoping this is one of those weeks.
Okay, Alan.
The positive, Steve, is the PSG game. After 20 minutes, we could have been 4-0 down, but after that, we were absolutely superb. And I agree with the lads that spoke. And Lewis Hall was immense in both games. Ramsey and Elanga starting to improve. I thought Trippier, again, I've got to give credit to the lads against PSG. I thought they were fantastic and good credit. I was proud of them on the other night there. It was really, really good. The Liverpool game, I expected, Steve, to be honest. I said 3-1 and it was 4-1, so it was a little bit worse. The one-liner was that it was, it wasn't a 4-1 game on social media. Well, they're right about that. It could have been 5 or 6-1. But that's by the by, Steve. The positives are, Steve, that we scored a goal at Liverpool. I don't know what the set piece coach is doing because we had about 20,000 corners, but we did nothing with them in the first 40 minutes. We're huffed and puffed. We had a good chance, and Barnes had a good free kick. I hit the post, and then Gordon's goal was great. I thought for the second goal, Joe gets the blame, but I thought Trippier must have been having a coffee break because I didn't see him in the picture. Where was Trippier for that second goal? Joe obviously backed off, and he'll get the blame for the second goal, backing off all the time, which his position sense was totally wrong. They were all errors. I mean, the last goal were put up like Magnus Sears, flapping at that 4-1. I mean, basically, it was I expected it, Steve, to be honest, and that's the hardest thing. I don't accept it like Darren. I get mega depressed because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing the records we've got against the top 6 teams, and we're trying to pretend to be elite club. Where are we going as a club, lads? This is why the negativity, Steve. I saw your show last night, and I thought the point being, and I said before the chat, is no news about the training ground. No news about the stadium. The under-21 coaches are leaving every 6 months. The club seems as though it's built on sand here. And Eddie Howe was saying, well, he made a comment a couple of weeks ago about, well, I might not be here for the new ground and the new training ground. And I'm thinking, is he? And I'm an Eddie Howe supporter, but we've got 5 defenders there coming to the end of their careers. No PSR value at all. We're going to struggle to get over this hill going forward in the future. But I'll leave it at that, Steve. I could rant on about where do we see ourselves as? Do we want to be number 1? Aston Villa are selling and buying players and to keep up with the mega teams like Chelsea and Liverpool and Man United, and they're struggling, but they're still selling. But we haven't got the assets to sell. That's the problem. Lascelles is going out on a free. Trippier will go out on a free. Dan Burn won't be sold for any money. So we've got to. So what we're saying here? Do I have to sell a Gordon or Tonali in the summer to keep the Wolves at bay? So we're taking 1 step forward and 3 steps back. In the future, I'm talking about. The season's up for grabs. It's still. I'm thinking. I said 9th. So my prediction's virtually spot on at the minute. There's a chance for 7th position because the points totals aren't that great. you cannot tell me we're worse than Brentford, who are 7th at the minute. Surely to God we can get up the 7th position. And lo and behold, the Mackhams are right behind our tail, and if they win tonight, they'll be above we. Surely we can beat them in league positions, lads. Surely, guys. But overall, devastated because I never like to see we're getting beat. I never accept defeat. And basically, I'm disappointed where people go, "Our away form is terrible." Well, I've got news for the younger viewers and the older ones. We have never been good travellers. Like I've said on many a show, Steve, we're average in the top league in 75 years is 4 wins away every season. Eddie Howe changed that momentum. But so we've only got 2 more wins, and that's our average. Malcolm McDonald, I don't want to hit Malcolm with it because obviously I want to see him get better. But in the 70s was our worst decade for away wins. And Malcolm keeps saying, well, a good point away is good. Not in the modern day, lads. You've got to win games to get at the very elite level. So basically, I'll leave it at that. I'm positive that, we've done as well as we could be expected with the team we've got. But I worry so much for the future going forward. And that means the short term as well as the long term, because I think good clubs like Villa and Liverpool's just signed a player tonight for 60 million there. Good clubs buy players and sell players always constantly to improve that squad every window. And we're not doing it again. It looks like anyway, unless there's late movement. And I worry for we're going forward because we'll have to sell some of our big players in the summer to go 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Because Whistle will have no resaleable value. Voldemort might come good. Elanga might come good. But them are like that's 120, 150 million pounds worth of talent that will we get much off them if we come to sell them. So I'm positive, but there again, we've got to trust the powers that be going forward. But I am worried about the future going forward now, lads. We're not signing anybody in the transfer window here, and let's see what happens on Wednesday night. I'm sure we'll get onto it.
I keep thinking of Paula Abdul every time he keeps saying 1 step forward and 2 steps back. It's from opposite attract. Tom, good evening. Any positivity from you, Tom? I know it's hard after a 4-1 defeat, but anything positive?
Well, I do want to say when Alan's positive, I still feel like jumping out the window. I have to say that because that's a pretty negative to me.
You live in a bungalow.
I think Alan lives in the past sometimes. We're in the future now.
Yeah. Well, I could say that, I hate Man United. I hate Sunderland with the passion. But after the shenanigans of last summer, I hate Liverpool more, right? So those 3 teams we all lost to, and it is disheartening to say the least. With that said, we all know we're kind of victim of our own success. We're in 4 competitions. We have a very limited squad, and we're playing twice a week, month in, month out anymore. This month looks brutal. So it's not just physical tired, you're also mental tired. And when you're mental tired, you make mental mistakes. And that's what I saw 3 times last week our last match is the mental mistake. It's mental fatigue. So I'm not regardless of what some fans say or anything else, I think we're having an okay season. Maybe we're not as good as we thought we were at the beginning of the season, but I think it all stems from a really shit summer, right? I mean, there's a lot of would-haves, could-haves, maybe we should-haves, but none of that makes any difference now. You got 25 lads, I think about 11 healthy, and they're playing 2 games a week. I've been calling for Eddie to change things up. He started Gordon in the middle. I applauded that. And I thought he played decently, at least for the first 40 minutes. I thought he played really well. And our speed up front caused them problems. So we wanted him to make some changes. I think he made something that was a pretty brave change. Even last Wednesday, when he made the change in formation, I thought it was brave, and I thought that the club did pretty well. And he also asked for a plan B. Well, you know what? He gave us a plan B as well on Saturday. We played a 4-4-2. We finished up that way. We had a Solo playing an attacking midfielder on the right. We had Wissa and Valdemata ahead of him. So he did some different things. Was it because of injuries or some other things? Maybe. If you play all these players in different positions and they're not practicing, that's certainly going to impact things. But he did. He played I thought he played brave. He said after the match, we did not have, obviously, Bruno, but we also did not have Miley. We did not have Botman. Maybe if Botman was playing, we would have went with 5 in the back. We would have played a little bit different formation. I think it was almost like a 4-5-1 in defense, I think. So I don't know. I'm disappointed. We lost to Liverpool. I hate them, especially after last summer. I think we all do. So the disappointment stings a little bit more than it would maybe other ways. But we're still in the 4 competitions. We have a good match on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if we did okay on Wednesday. We seem to play City pretty well. Will we get 2 goals back? I don't know about that, but I think it'll be a competitive match, and our season kicks on. So all we can do is support the lads, right? It's easy to be a fan when your team's doing well. I think we all got to just suck it up a little bit and support the fans when maybe the team's not doing as well, and showing a little bit more empathy that these lads are giving it their best. They're playing 2 matches a week. You're going to have physical tired. You're going to get injury, and you're going to be mentally tired. So let's support the lads. I do, and I'm looking forward to a good match on Wednesday.
Okay, good stuff, Tom. Pablo?
Yeah, some cracking points from the lads. I was quite surprised, Steve, when you mentioned about, the 2 lads getting lifted for chanting, because I was going to kind of applaud and praise the staff at Liverpool. We had a bit of crack with them beforehand with holding up our Isaac poster, which was quite derogatory, but all of the staff enjoyed it. The fans come up to us joining in, and you were kind of meant to feel welcome. Which, I don't dole out the praise much to teams like Liverpool, but the whole experience for me was positive. Probably looking before it, given the performance that we'd given in midweek, which was absolutely phenomenal, by the way, and fair play to Eddie for being brave enough to change it, and it paid dividends. Now, unfortunately, on Saturday, he didn't have that luxury of going for the same system, 2 key midfielders out, so I think coming away with the defeat we did, I'm quite calm about this. And I think I'm calm because there's never been a time in my life, and I don't expect there will be, where I expect to go to Anfield and come away with a result. That's just the plain simplistics of football. There's a reason why Liverpool won that night, and it's very simple. They've got better footballers. They've got better footballers because, strangely enough, they can spend what they want when they want. And that has been proved today. So
they haven't got a stealing, Pavlo, have they? They haven't got a stealing.
It doesn't take a genius to work that one out. And I think Liverpool, if 9 out of 10 people, we know different now because the season's unfolded. You'd have asked 10 football fans at the beginning of the year with the summer that Liverpool had and the buys that they made, it was almost a given they were going to win the league. So to get all kind of negative coming away from Liverpool with a defeat, have we learned anything new about us? The answer is no. We can't compete at that level, and we all know the reasons why. I think going on to the game, I'm actually quite proud of the kind of first half, call it, that we produced, because you would have expected with that game against PSG for us to look physically knackered, physically under the cosh. And we didn't. We actually looked the opposite. We took the game to them in the majority of that first half. And I think more the collapse that we had was a mental collapse. It was clear to see. As soon as that goal from Noodlehead, Ekitike went in, you just kind of knew, it's just one of them things in football, you know what's coming. And I kind of accepted it. And I think probably on Ekitike, there are rumours that we could have picked him up for 30, 40 mil and blah, blah. He is living proof, and I'm not going to go into Nick too much, but there are players there for that money. And I'll be honest with you, you've got to set your hat, because every time that kid got near the ball, you just knew something was going to happen. He's just one of them players that's electric, and that's the kind of quality out there when you've got a decent scouting network and somebody above Eddie Howe that can go and get these players. Because for me, when you compare that versus Walter Mardy, it's literally worlds apart, but the same price tag, and it's the same game of football. But I think, do you know what? Looking at it overall, you know, we've been beaten by Liverpool. We've had a tough game in midweek. We've got another tough game coming up. I don't know if you noticed, but I keep looking at the clock because transfer deadline. I think we've got 5 new players coming in the next 20 minutes. So I've got a keen eye on that. But no, listen, I can't nail people too much. I'm not negative. You know, obviously I'm disappointed we've been beaten, and I think big praise to Eddie Howe. You know, he for me, I completely saw what he was trying to do with Gordon up front, because the game at St James's, until Gordon got sent off, I think he had Van Dijk battled, and I think that was the method of thinking behind Eddie was, I'm going to stick Gordon up front because he might get a bobble here and there, and he will trouble Van Dijk and Konaté because they're not quick. They're excellent players, but they're not quick. They're aging. So fair play to Eddie. You know, we move on, we crack on. Me and Darren go to Man City, so who knows? Just give us a performance, lads. I'm not expecting a result. And I think I've made peace with our season. Usually I get quite uppity about things, but are we going to win the Premier League? No, we're not. Are we going to win the Carabao Cup? Being honest, no, we're not. Champions League? No, we're not. So I'd like to know where our priorities from management and upper management sit now, because the way I see a look at it, the FA Cup's the only thing that we've got in our sights.
Which is something I predicted we'd win at the start of the season. So it'll be interesting to see if Newcastle will focus on the FA Cup or whether the chase for a European spot will be more important. But yeah, good stuff, Pablo. I've got to say, I agree with a lot of what you said and have said over the last couple of days on social media. So I think we're singing from the same hymn sheet. Good evening, Jeff. Where's Rex?
Good evening. Rex is here. Rex, we better get Rex on first. Come on, then, Rex.
Go lad, Rex.
Good boy. Yeah,
good lad.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Jeff.
He's been watching the cricket, I'm afraid. Right. Yes. He can watch the cricket. Yes. And, you know, as Alan will tell you, staying up half the night to watch us getting rained off in Sri Lanka was a very strange sort of event for those who don't know. As
long as Rex is not lying to you.
Yes. And well, and this also, I want to make a point about the black armband business. We could have that on permanently. Everywhere you go, there's always some fan, some ex-player, whatever. Somebody's dog's died. It's almost like, and you know, when we think about the fuss we had with the poppies in UEFA, right? I want to start with our friends at UEFA. You know, I'm all up for this kick racism out of football, but can we make an exception for the Swiss and the Belgians, right? Because the Swiss are the dental gold standard for corruption, as far as I'm concerned. And they're both purveyors of really rather awful chocolate. This really isn't really very good. The reason and there's a serious point here, is the reason we can't use Russian money to rebuild our friends in Ukraine is because the Belgians are sitting on all of Putin's assets, and they're going, no, we're not having them. Well, no, you can't. We're looking after our own. And they killed 2 of my friends, and I'll not forgive them for that. And it's a history with a long history involving children. And it was good to see that Lord Smutty of Smogland got caught up in some stuff recently. Right. Yes. And when we're going abroad, another thing, we're going to, you know, with this international stuff now, you're going to have to be taking body armor, and you're going to have some special inoculations, and probably take a SWAT team with you and a hostage extraction thing. And that's just going to Liverpool, if you know what I mean. Yes. Do you remember Lazio? Lazio! And all that tiki-taka football? And we all got really excited until we realised people started getting thrown out of windows and it was all corrupt. Right? Once it gets corrupt, it's no good anymore. We can't even bet on it, if you know what I mean. And it ruins the product. And we could boycott the World Cup as far as I'm concerned. I know a lot of people like to go, but I don't care. Boycott it. Right, getting on to the Liverpool game. Right. Can I just say the ref was brilliant? It was just so reassuring to see a fair, observant, He maintained discipline. He kept the game flowing, and it's a great product, guys. All over it's for the neutral, it's a really good product. And that's where it is. We're making the money here, and I have to say we do have probably the best midfield in the division. I think when we're all fit, I think we've probably got the best midfield, but unfortunately, only one of them is sort of partially fit at the moment. So that's going to have an impact. Okay. We just haven't got the depth of squad, and it's not our fault. We went through this last week. We have a relatively small squad, relatively low values, really. Right. Now, I'm going to say something controversial. I watch one player during a game. That's about all my little brain can handle. So I watch what's going on with one player. And I chose to watch Hall, right? Our genius Hall. Now, he is our weak link at the moment. During that game, he was our weak link. His distribution was poor, right? He kept playing people on side by getting slow, getting back, maintaining the line, right? He loses possession, right? In dangerous areas, and he runs into corners. He runs up the line and then gets trapped against the line. He does not release the ball quickly enough, right? And his dead ball work isn't very good, quite frankly, right? And I think they were targeting our left. And Big Dan can't do it all. I do like Big Dan, and I do think our keeper's very good. I think our two defenders, both Shat and Botman, are very good. Right. And there's always some local player which we feel the need to blame. And then we're going to sell him to some lower league team beginning with B. It's always a B. There's always we'll sell him to a team beginning with B. Right. And they'll be sold off to some, team that's used to bullying of the division, which is another thing about Paris Saint-Germain. They're just a bully. They're just bullying. And once we'd sorted that out, they had no further ideas. They didn't know what to do anymore, right? Normally, teams capitulate. We didn't really capitulate. We made mistakes. That was it. Right. Anyway, getting back to our friends at Liverpool. Yes, they. I never listen with the sound on. Never have all of these channels, right, which are very expensive. I have it down to the absolute minimum, so I can just about hear the sound because I like to hear the crowd. And we have to thank them for the music. Who can forget the scaffold and Lily the Pink? And the way that the crowd spontaneously sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" in time for the PA when they turn that up. Yeah, it's really quite moving. Right. And if you're going abroad, of course, I've got to remind you, measles is back, which is one of the reasons I've got no sense of balance. I've got one knackered eye. I can hardly fucking move in a straight line anymore. It's measles, strangely enough.
It had to be something. If you're happy with the goalkeepers, it had to be some good reason.
And it's going to be so disappointing because we're not going to buy anybody. This stuff is planned a long time ahead. We don't make panic decisions. We're not just going to buy any old scrap off the heap that's going. And poor old Simon Pride, who loves to press that button, and he lives for pressing those. In the studio, they have these button selections. I suspect someone I know has got one. And they press this button, and a strange noise appears, and everyone goes, "Whoa, God!" And the last thing I'd like to say is, "Slava Ukraine."
Thank you, Jeff. I'm not sure what it was for, but thank you. Kevin, back to football. Back to football.
I'll try. I've got to compose myself now.
Back to music.
Anyway,
I'll get a guitar.
No, I don't need serenading, Jeff. Thanks. I appreciate it. Well, like the lad said, pre-Jeff, we've done to be honest, for what? I don't know, 60, so 100 minutes of football, PSG in Liverpool, probably the best we've played all season in a nutshell. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around how we got beat off a Liverpool team that we know traditionally play the Liverpool way, pass and move like the Liverpool groove, which was the phrase of the 90s and 80s and way beyond. And for a team to beat us to just go long, win the second ball and play underneath them and basically cheat, not cheating in terms of shithousery, in terms of just cheating in terms of defensive responsibilities and their roles.
Yeah.
How that occurred to basically to play, I'm just tactically a little bit. They played a 4-2-4 when they had the ball. Went long, won the ball underneath. Gravenberch and McAllister just sat quite happily to run off the front four of Wirtz, who played as a second striker against Ekitike, and they've just revolved around each other and moved. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and we've done that so well for 40 minutes to stop that. Yes, they played long, but unfortunately, and I've said it again and again and again, the space in midfield, you could drive it. You could drive the Titanic through it. It was unbelievable. The amount of space they had to win that second ball, and that's how they won that game. Yes, I appreciate Tom's comment in terms of the physical and the mental strain that PSG and the previous against Villa, then again against Man City the few days prior to that takes a lot out of you. Traveling, even though it's down only to Paris, it doesn't matter. You're traveling, there's more recovery than actually practice and training and recovery and rest and stepping away from the game for a day or two, then getting back into it and then be refreshed again to go mentally to go again. It's a tall order. And again, it doesn't look, got Man City, then we've got a very difficult schedule coming up. So it's not going to stop. So that's where mentally the coaching staff and the team around the players have to come into play here. It's more than that. It's more than just the 11 players on the field or the 16 or 25 in the squad. It's everybody coming as a collective to go forward. But again, and I said in the private chat that I think the second goal killed us, to be honest. It was basically we switched off from set plays, corners, and balls in their final third, and we just switched off. Mental errors. That's all what it basically comes down to. You can look at it from a technical standpoint. You can look at it from a tactical standpoint, but it was just a ball down the side. Ekitike gets in and toe pokes it into the far corner. Yeah, you could do better. You could force them out. You could win the ball back. You could recover better. But again, for the workload that, again, against high-level teams, the workload to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down constantly for X amount of games with minimal rest, with minimal recovery periods, that takes its toll in terms of the output that you're going to get, and you're going to tire. And that's what it was: tired, fragmented. And I mean, in the PSG game for the first, Alan said, 20 odd minutes? I'll go a little bit further. For the first, up until we scored, we looked lost. We didn't know. It just looked like square pegs in round holes. Didn't know where we were, what we were doing. Just looked like we rocked up off a bus and met each other on the park and said, "Let's play a game of football together, lads." But we figured it out, and I appreciate Eddie Howe changing things, creating different looks, different options. What we have, I thought the yellow card for Anthony Gordon. Not that it was harsh; it was a yellow card. He was late. But that changes the way he performs. That changes the way he goes about his business.
Good point.
From the press, I mean, you could have kicked him a little harder, but that is what it is. But that's just me. I thought but on the flip side, I think Liverpool were very handsy, very clever in what they've done, and played the game better than we did. And I think that's another area that we have to look at, because I think we've lost that a little bit. Yes, the physicality of Joe Linton. I'm not saying go and kick people into the stand. I'm not adverse to that. But again, you've got to be competitive enough. And I don't think we're not competitive enough. We're basically, it was a pillar fight, and we just let Liverpool once they went 2-1 up. basically said, okay, you have the ball, we play on the counter-attack. Peter says how many as you want. We'll just lay the literal red carpet out for you. And that's how it looked, and that's how it felt. Immediately after the game, I was over it. I pretty much just sat down and watched the game. I'd normally stand up and pace, but I just sat down and watched it. So it was over. And that was the stark reality of the game. And Pablo said it, they've got better players. Just across the board, got better players, and they turn it on on and off when they want. And they'll just click. Our goal made it click, and we couldn't respond, we couldn't react. But that's football. Sometimes you get whacked all over the place. Sometimes you don't. It just depends on the mentality of the day. So we'll just again, unfortunately, have to dust yourself down, move on, grow set, whatever superlative you need to use, and fight for what we'll have to fight for the rest of the season. And again, it's down to the management. It's down to finding answers and finding where we'll have to move forward. And I think Eddie Howe's trying to find those answers, but he's coming to crop at the injuries and the little things going on, whatever that is. So all the best to him. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in his shoes right now, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, not downbeat, but just more frustration, more agitated of what could have been. Because I think if we carried on the way we played without conceding up until half time, we could have probably went on to win it.
That was my thoughts, Kevin. As soon as we scored, I thought, keep it at 1-0. We might have a chance here.
Yeah, but hey.
Okay. Cheers, Kev. Manchester City away in the Carabao Cup is the next game. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. 5,359 fans going to be travelling down as well. Great support. Obviously, Newcastle 2-0 down after the first leg. An uphill battle, I think, this one. But if we manage to win 2-0 and the aggregate score is level, it'll be an additional 30 minutes, followed by a penalty shootout if there's no scorers in extra time. The identity of the team that the winners of the tie will face at Wembley on Sunday, March the 22nd, will be known because Arsenal take on Chelsea tomorrow night. The Gunners lead 3-2 after the first leg. The most recent Newcastle goal scorer at the Etihad was DeAndre Yedlin back in September 2018, 690 minutes ago. The last away team to record a 2-goal victory in the League Cup was Newcastle back in October 2014. Bit early for team news, but we know that Tino Livramento, Fabian Shaw and Joe Linton all remain out and unavailable. Bruno Guimaraes, Sven Botman and Miley are all doubtful. Assuming he features in the game, Harvey Barnes will reach a century of appearances in all competitions for Newcastle United. As for Man City, due to the limitation of playing for just one club in the competition being abolished, defender Mark Gahey isn't available to face Newcastle as his transfer from Crystal Palace wasn't finalised before the semi-final first leg. So a little bit of good news anyway. Jeremy Doku, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Joško Gvardiol, Mateo Kovacic and Savinho are all out. Ahead of our visit, Pep Guardiola's side drew 2-2 at Spurs in the Premier League on Sunday. The referee is Tony Harrington. It's his first Newcastle game of the season. Tony, of course, hails from Hartlepool. Last time we took charge of one of our games was our final game of last season at home to Everton, which of course we lost. VAR is in operation in this stage of the competition, and it'll be Paul Howard. The game is live on Sky Sports on Wednesday. So Kevin, we'll come to you first. Can we do it, mate? Can we do it? Can we overturn the 2-0 deficit? Can we at least get back into it and give ourselves a bit of a fighting chance and get a bit of glory maybe in the competition again?
Absolutely. I watched the Man City Tottenham game yesterday. I turned the thing off after 1-0 when Man City went 1-0 up, and I thought, it's going to be a cricket score here. But somehow Tottenham find a way. So we need to find a way. Again, for previously what I said, yes, you're tired. Yes, you're mentally tired. I'm sorry, you're a professional footballer at this point. If you want to get to another cup final, that'd be 3 and 4 years, I want to say, something like that. If you want to get to another final, make the dance, you're going to have to run yourself into the ground. Injuries, doesn't matter. If you want to overturn this, not from a obsolete performance who just got beat by a better side, it is what it is. Man City, it is what it is. Again, like Liverpool, just turn it on, turn it off, or playing poorly, whatever. They find a way. We need to find a way. Don't care how it happens. I'll take any result as long as it's in the positive. Do what you have to do. Do your job. Play like a PSG performance. Give everything you have to get into a final. Don't care how it happens. But there's nothing more imperfect than football. Why can't we go to Man City and get a 3-2 victory or 3-0 victory? Sorry. Or why can't we go down there and say, okay, and show the football world what we're really about and where we're from? Have a bit of pride about yourself. That's what we need to show.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your prediction, Kev?
9-0 Newcastle United. No,
I was thinking 10, Kevin.
I'll go. Hold on, I've got to do a quick maths here. You're putting my crumbling education here to a test.
It's 3 we need, Kev.
Is it Pablo? See, you better.
Well, we need 2. We need 2 goals. We need 2 goals to draw level and tie, and then we could get
3. It'll be 3-1, so 3-3 on the tie, and we'll win it in penalties.
Okay, good stuff, Jeff.
Well, I say 3-0 every week, right? So it'll be 3-0. Right? I've got to be right eventually. And in terms of, it's a question of blocking the float of that big. They've got a big Swedish unit or Norwegian unit, some big Scandinavian thing that kicks the ball in the net. And what you do is you block the flow of balls to him. And it depends on how they play out against our press. I don't know how good their goalkeeper is in terms of being able to deal with the fact that we're going to press him, right? How are you going to get the ball out? Will they just kick it long?
George.
Yeah, just kick it up the middle of the field. I don't know, but anyway, we'll see. I'm hopeful. Yeah, good for them. We'll be all right.
3-0 from Jeff as usual. Pablo, you're going down, mate, to the game.
Yeah. To be fair, Kev, I hope it doesn't go to penalties. I've got work early on Thursday morning. I'd like it done and dusted nice and early. Do you know what? There is an element. Yes, we could do it. If I'm being deadly honest with you, do I think we're going to do it? Probably not. Given the gravitas of the game, Man City love the Carabao Cup. I think we've given ourselves just too much of a mountain to climb at 2. If it was a 1-0 all day long, I'd probably be looking at it a little bit more positive. But do you know what? There's no shame in it. Like I said before, there's no shame. We got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Do I think? No. I think it'll be a good game, and I'd just like us to be competitive. But I'm not going to be running away with my tail between my legs if we go out on Wednesday night, which is likely.
Okay, scoreline?
1-1 on the night.
1-1 on the night. Okay, Tom?
Well, we got a big match on Saturday. They don't play until Sunday. That's a little advantage for Pep. Not that he needs much of advantage. And they play Liverpool, so I'll be rooting against them Wednesday, but rooting very strong for Man City on Sunday. I can tell you that. I kind of agree with Pablo there. I think that Pep's going to play his match. He's not going to change his style whatsoever. I think they'll get a lot of the ball, and we're going to have to play counter football. And if we do that successfully, we'll get a couple goals. But I don't know how we stop them from getting a goal. So, unfortunately, I think that we lose 2-1. I'm sorry, we win 2-1, but we're out of the competition.
Okay, mate. Okay, Alan.
I think we'll get beat 2-1. I agree with Pablo. If we'd been 1-0 down, I would give a chance. There's always a chance in the cup competitions. 1-0 is nothing, but I think Man City will be too strong for 2-1. I'm actually looking more forward to the Brentford and Spurs games, Steve, following on, because I think they're more important now. But I think Man City will win 2-1.
Okay, Magnus?
I have given a huge effort to the club, bringing 20 people with me along the way to enjoy the premises of seeing the game. Now it's time to take something back. My son supports Man City. I don't want to have to kick him out of the house. So we are going to be winning this game. Only it will be a tough one. We will win in full or like draw in full time 2-0, and then we will beat them by a fraction in extra time and no penalties. 3-2 for me.
Okay, Darren.
I want to go down there and just do our best. The players will try. I don't know what Ken's trying to say. The players will try the hard. But on the day Man City can be anybody 6-7 on their day Man City that good. You can't let them go and try the best. And the players will work hard. But if Man City are the best, Man City beat us all day long. So the players have done our capable. Possibly a draw for lucky, but I don't think they're going to win. So I'm going to go for Man City 3-0.
Man City 3-0. George?
Well, you don't expect me to say anything other than something positive. Kevin used an important word at the beginning, pride. I'd like to see our players have some pride in what they're doing. And if they do, then I can see us sneaking 2-0 and winning on penalties.
Okay, good stuff. The transfer window has closed with no business at Newcastle. Not the first time I've said that in January. Everyone looking shocked. But it's been a good show. Thank you to Kevin, to Jeff, to Pablo, to Tom, to Alan, to Magnus, to Darren, to George. Great show. Thank you, lads. Let's see what happens on Wednesday. I'm going to be back slightly later in the morning, probably around about 10 o'clock. So set the subscribe button if you haven't already and hit the reminder once I load the show. There'll be a live Q&A tomorrow. I'll not be able to go live tomorrow night. So looking forward to seeing everybody then. Thanks to the Fans Forum. Take care, lads. See you next week.
Well done, lads. Take care.
Guys.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com, or contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to United Group Travel, our fanzine sponsor. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach. All excursions included. Their website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Deposits from £50 per person. A big thanks to Media Arts. Their website, www.media-arts.co.uk. Email info@media-arts.co.uk or telephone 0191 637 5061. If you want to help support the channel, then you can click the subscribe button. We still do 7 shows a week. It is free. Hit the thumb up to like the video and click share to share to your social media. A big thanks to Sports Social Podcast Network. You can listen to us on the road, on this network, or by tuning into iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. You can also join the channel by hitting the join button on YouTube or go to our website, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. You can pay a one-off fee of £25 and you'll receive a membership card, a beer mat, a fridge magnet, a key ring, a badge and a pen. £25, nufcmatters.co.uk.